こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、リーズユナイテッドの田中碧に関する動画です。リーズユナイテッドは、プレミアリーグ第30節で、クリスタルパレスと対戦し、グドムンソンの退場を受けた後も徹底的に守りきり、スコアレスドローに持ち込みました。退場者を出しての引き分けは、非難されるようなものではないと思いますが、降格レースには完全に入っているために、リーズファンの懸念も、ひにひにしているように感じます。今回はおなじみのリーズファンであるワンリーズのコーナーが、やはり今、田中碧を含めて、ローテーションが必要だと叫んでいます。実際にどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。On this video, I'm not going to say anything completely outlandish. I'm not going to say anything that's going to surprise you guys. But what I am going to say is, and we'll get into the specifics of it towards the back end of the video, but this is kind of the brutal truth. Again, we did this about 1 or 2 weeks ago, and it's reactive. Everything's reactive in the space at the minute. Why? Because Leeds United are playing every single week. We're putting in different performances, and you've seen the spectrum. You've seen the thought of change happen based on that. You've seen different fans. We had Gabe last night, very upset at the situation at this moment in time. We've had Brownie on, who's extremely positive about it, still thinks we're in a situation of which we will be fine. We have the Patreons. We have my old man who's a bit concerned, who's a little bit in the middle. I'm a little bit with him at this moment in time. We have you guys, the subscribers to the One Leeds channel. We have neutrals coming in, West Ham fans, Forest fans, Everton fans, Villa fans, all saying that Leeds will be okay and they hope Leeds will stay up, but they're not out of it yet. But the brutal truth is, right now, it is in our own hands, all of this. And I've been listening to 50 million different things this morning, a lot of the time from neutrals. Neutrals who are now dragging Leeds into it a little bit, saying Leeds aren't out of it at this moment in time. And we have to address that fact. We have to address the fact that Leeds aren't. It doesn't matter how much you calculate, you pretend table calculators and all this sort of stuff, which I've done, which my good mate Callum Fowler's done, which we've seen a lot of content creators done, all these sort of table predictors. They mean jack. It doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, Leeds are in this fight, and I think most logical Leeds fans knew we were going to be in this fight because it's not based on nostalgia and based on previous, but you kind of got to drag that into it. Leeds never make things easy, you know, from the battle with Sheffield United and Norwich in Bielsa's first season, all the way back to Jermaine Beckford at Old Trafford that season, Bristol Rovers last day of the season. You know, it's always drama, including when Leeds United are involved in it. We wouldn't have it any other way, or would we? I think we actually would. It'd be nice to be mid-table right now. But the fact is, and the brutal truth is, Leeds United could be safe. We could be okay at the end of the season. And I revert back to these table predictors. Everybody's still got us up. Now, you look at the negativity associated with what's going on right now, okay? And I actually morph realism and negativity kind of the same vein. I think people strike it down as negativity when they don't agree with it. And I understand that to a certain level, because I think the other side of the coin will strike positive people as deluded and happy clappers. So I think there's a common ground here. But you look at Leeds United's remaining fixtures. You look at what we have left. You look at the relative ease in comparison to other Premier League fixtures that Leeds United have at their disposal. It would be a crime from where we were to get relegated in this Premier League season. That's not being dramatic. That's not me being, you know, enveloped in hysteria. It's really not. It's not. From where we were when it came to that relegation zone, from the opportunity we had in January, of which we avoided, which I thought, okay, that is a risk. It's a big risk. I understood it in the Championship, us not buying players, because we had the best squad in the division. By far, one of the best squads the Championship's ever seen. Avengers in that division. We didn't have that in the Premier League. The other concern that I'm having right now is that Leeds United aren't rotating enough. There's not enough trust put into these players. I would hazard a guess that when it comes to rotation and minutes per rotated player, I'd suggest that maybe the players on the bench haven't been given as many minutes as our peers. That's what I would suggest. I don't know if that's backed up by hard facts and truths. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's subjective. That's purely subjective. But I think with the likes of Tanaka, the likes of Nonto, the likes of James, if you want to throw Peru in there, we're going to have to throw Metra in there because he's normally been a bench boy. But I think what you've got to look at right now Is Daniel Farke rotating that side with 8 games to go a little bit more? Becoming a little bit unorthodox, a little bit unpredictable. These players aren't bad players. Tanaka's not a bad player. I will never have that. Nonto's not a bad player. I will never have that. And right now we're facing a problem that maybe we haven't had before, because we've had the goal scoring tally of Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the double digits. Lucas Mecha, per 90 minutes, the second best in the division. But you've got to play him a little bit more. It's not always going to be the luck of the draw that Mecha comes on with 15, 30, 45 minutes left and gets a goal. There's got to be a case to starting him potentially in some games, like we saw the other day. Willie Gnonto, is he potentially a better option right now than Brendan Aronson in that attacking zone? We know Brendan runs more. We know Brendan has been better at points this season. But it's purple patches with Brendan. We've always known that. Always known that. And the stats always aren't there to back it up. Whereas you actually look at that comparatively with Willie Gnonto. Gnonto per 90 isn't bad whatsoever. He wins Leeds territory, gains free kicks, gets us up the pitch as a better first touch. He's a better decision maker than Brendan Aronson. For one, I'm not saying right now that, you know, Brendan Aronson doesn't deserve his place at Leeds United. But rotation needs to happen now. It's an absolute godsend, in my opinion, that Okafor's back. Because I think maybe we've got to look at bringing Brendan Aronson out. Maybe can we rotate Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Is that something we can even do at this stage of the season? I don't know if it is. Can you really rotate Jayden Bogle right now, who was my MVP 2 weeks ago and probably still is of the season? Can you really take him out? Because you look at this team, what X factor do we have? Stack's incredible free kicks, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goals, Lucas Mecha's brilliant contribution per 90, and it feels quite redundant saying that, but it feels kind of, if you're looking at that molecular level, that's what kind of the goal scoring rate has come to when it's been Leeds United, especially in 2026, maybe late 2025. The contributors have been quite minimal. So you're going to have to keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there, but you've got to give him that supporting cast. Got to give him that supporting cast. And at this moment in time, Farke's got to think about what we're doing here. And obviously he will be doing. But there's many questions. Who gets brought out? Who gets put in? Are we going to go a little bit more offensive like we saw against Crystal Palace, against Brentford, and against Wolves? We saw Wolves last night. Wolves were really good last night. Really good. 2-2 draw away at Brentford. And it's easy for them because the pressure's off, right? The pressure's off. Wolves haven't turned into a great team all of a sudden. The pressure's off. They know they're going down. Similarly to Burnley, they know they're going down. The pressure's off. It wouldn't surprise me if you actually look at that form table, if you see Wolves and Burnley, potentially, especially with Burnley's fixtures and Wolves' fixtures, going ahead of some of the bottom pack who are fighting, because we're trying to grapple onto points. We're trying to stay into games. But this is where the psychology of it with Daniel Farke is now going to be brought into play. Do you grapple onto that point? Make sure you don't lose games, or do you go for all three? It's West Ham are winning games. If you look at the last sort of like 8 games, they are winning games. Leeds are drawing a lot of games. 2 wins in 13, I think it is. And it's good drawing games. And that's what mid-table teams do, draw games. And ultimately, that is what we'll see Leeds out of this. It is what we'll see Leeds out of this. Is there concern? 100%. Our marksman isn't scoring goals. He's missed a penalty to win us the game. Even with the 5 at the back the other day, where we think we're a little bit more attacking with 2 up top, we looked toothless really in that first half, aside from the penalty kick. Sunderland, obviously the gaffer played 9 or 10 defenders and then took time to change it. These are key moments in our season. Sunderland have fell off a cliff recently, and against Leeds United in both games, they've had about 15 players missing, if you're including AFCON and last time out when they played Leeds United. So there's all this to take into consideration. But the bottom dollar is, what is the brutal truth? The brutal truth for me is Leeds have got to beat Burnley. Leeds have got to beat Wolves. And Leeds have got to get something against Brentford and Brighton. But on top of that, if we're not able to do that, we have to start going into some of these away games with different thought processes. The point was brilliant at the weekend with the circumstances. I thought the circumstances actually suited Leeds, and that's credit to Daniel Farke for this season setting Leeds up to be difficult to beat. But Leeds have got to win games as well. We've got to win games, because I think teams in and around us will win games. Leeds have got to that point now where we are, that, as I've just mentioned, that mid-table club. Rotations are going to have to be a little bit more often, in my opinion. These players, I'll say this once again, I'll reinforce this. Tanaka, Nonto, Mecha, Peru if you want, James, these aren't bad players. Just because they're on the bench and the manager hasn't selected them doesn't mean they're bad players. It's just he doesn't have them in his foresight when it comes to selection. But they've got to be rotated a little bit more. Jayden Bogle for me cannot come out of this side, ever. Don't care if he's had 2 off games, they've all had 2 off games, they've all had 3 off games. Jayden Bogle cannot come out of this side. And he'll be back in, thank goodness. Because obviously James Justin's going to go on the left-hand side. But Brentford's massive. Absolutely massive for Leeds United. In the back of my head, I've got us getting a point, which wouldn't be the end of the world. 3 points would be amazing. But the brutal truth, I keep mentioning this, is we're going to have to pick up wins. I think Leeds can grind their way to safety. I think we're good enough. But we've got to come out of this patch now. We've got to get that win. It's no good just drawing. Because I feel teams in and around us, especially when you look at Spurs, maybe with some of their home games, potentially even against us. I think there's a W in there for them. A couple of W's maybe and a draw. Forest, got a few in there if you look at their home fixtures. Not all going to turn into world beaters overnight. Neither are we. But it's all about who can handle that pressure. Who can handle that pressure right now? Can it be Leeds? Is this a new Leeds? Where we can do that? We've done that last season when it comes to the promotion team, but we had the best team in the division. Feels like a bit more of an equal playing field now. Huge moments for Leeds United. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Brownie should be back either tonight or tomorrow. Keep updated by hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you later on. Cheers.
次は解説です。今回も面白い表現がいくつかありましたので、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょう。
I'm not going to say anything completely outlandish.
アウトランディッシュは、突飛なや常識外れのという意味の形容詞です。普通とは大きくかけ離れていて、驚くような内容や考えに使われます。単なるストレンジよりも強く、それ本気というニュアンスがあります。また服装や見た目が奇抜な時にも使うことができます。ネイティブの会話や YouTube では比較的よく出る単語です。意味だけでなく、どれくらい変なのかという強さの感覚も大切です。
I'm not going to say anything completely outlandish. I'm not going to say anything completely outlandish. And you've seen the spectrum.
Spectrum は幅や範囲を表す単語です。もともとは光のスペクトルという意味ですが、会話ではもっと広く使われます。例えば、意見の幅、感情の幅、出来のばらつきなどを表せます。サッカーでは、チームの出来が良い時も悪い時もある時に使えます。今回の You've seen the spectrum は、いろいろな出来を見てきたという意味です。つまり、一つの状態だけではなく、両極端まで含めて見てきた感覚です。Wide spectrum で幅広い範囲という言い方もよく使われます。抽象的な話を英語で表すときに便利な単語です。
And you've seen the spectrum. And you've seen the spectrum. And all these sort of table predictors, they mean jack.
mean jack はかなりカジュアルな英語表現で、全く意味がないという意味です。ここでのジャックは何もないゼロに近いスラングです。そのため、they mean jack で、それは何の意味もないとなります。スポーツの議論では、予想や計算が当てにならないときによく合う表現です。少しラフで強い言い方なので、フォーマルな場面には向きません。ニュースやビジネス英語ではあまり使わず、会話や YouTube 向きです。サッカーファンの動画では、感情を込めて言うときにぴったりの表現です。
And all these sort of table predictors, they mean jack. And all these sort of table predictors, they mean jack. But it's purple patches with Brendan.
Purple patch は好調期や絶好調の時期という意味です。特にスポーツでよく使われる表現で、ある一定期間だけとても活躍するときに使います。ずっと安定して良いというより、波のように良い時期が来る感覚です。例えば、数試合連続でゴールしたり、プレーが急に良くなったときに使えます。今回のでは、ブレンデンは常に良いわけではなく、好調な時期が時々あるだけだと言っています。つまり、安定感よりも波がある選手だという評価です。スポーツの会話や解説ではかなり自然な表現です。フォームやコンシステンシティと一緒に覚えると理解しやすいです。
But it's purple patches with Brendan. But it's purple patches with Brendan because we're trying to grapple onto points.
grapple は格闘するや必死に取り組むという意味です。もともとは相手と組み合うような物理的な格闘のイメージがあります。そこから難しい問題や苦しい状況に必死に向き合う意味でも使われます。単なる try よりも苦しさや必死さが強く出る単語です。ニュースでは grappling with inflation のように難しい台に苦しむ意味でもよく使われます。建設現場の重機の先についていて、木材などをつかむものを日本語でもグラップルというようなので、そこから覚えるのもいいでしょ
う。Because we're trying to grapple onto points. Because we're trying to grapple onto points. I think Leeds can grind their way to safety.
grind one's way to は、苦しみながらも粘ってたどり着くという意味です。楽に勝つのではなく、地道に泥臭く前に進むイメージがあります。スポーツでは、内容が良くなくても、なんとか勝ち点を積み上げるときによく使われます。今回の grind way to safety は、粘って残留するという意味です。つまり、圧倒的に勝つのではなく、苦しみながらも結果を出す感覚です。この grind には、削るように少しずつ進むイメージがあります。そのため、努力、我慢、しぶとさが強く感じられる表現です。サッカーの残留争いや昇格争いでは、とてもよく合う言い方です。
I think Leeds can grind their way to safety. I think Leeds can grind their way to safety.
いかがでしたか？状況が厳しくなればなるほど、ローテーションはできなくなっていくものだと思いますが、それを分かった上でも、直近の数試合の結果や内容から、今、ローテーションが必要だということでしょうし、そもそももっと早い時期から、ローテーションをすべきだったということであり、サブの選手が牛を上げることなく、今までやってきたツケが回ってきたとも言えるかもしれません。アーロンソンは、少し南の匠を彷彿とするようながむしゃらさを個人的には感じていますが、グルエブは、レベルは違えど、遠藤航と同じような役回りであるような気もして、否定はしたくない気持ちもありますが、それでも特に田中碧やウィリー・ニョントがもう少し出場機会を重ねれば、もっともっと良いパフォーマンスが見せれることも分かっているので、それを堅くなにやらないように見えるのは、アーネスロットとも重なる部分を感じますし、ローテーションをしないで有名とも言えるグラスナーの方が、まだローテーションしているようにも感じてきます。いずれにせよ、ローテーションが必要であり、サブ選手のパフォーマンスの向上も必須であり、少し奇襲的な意味合いのあった4バックへの変更も、完全に対応されているとも取れますので、また違う戦い方や、選手の使い方をしない限り、降格圏へ落ちていきそうな気もしてきます。リーズが降格することが、田中碧が移籍する可能性が最も高くなるとは思いますので、そうなることも少し期待してしまいますが、田中碧の出番があることを少しだけ期待しながら、また次のブレントフォード戦を楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。